this outdoor summer tablescape. We want ice cream. We want, kids playing in the background. We want this kind of table look. Well, first you've got to source all of those things and make sure they all look good together. You've got to pack all those things.
And you got to shoot it November. because they will suddenly, that's the part I learned about media. It's like people are doing freaking summer shoots in October.
Yeah, we want this look.
Hey guys, the leaves are gold. We're Welcome to Owner's Table, where today we talk to Kathleen Varner. Now, Kathleen is a local Birmingham girl who has made her name in the styling business. She started out at Southern Living. We kind of trace her journey into what now she's a new mom, and she pretty much is so good at what she does that she kind of gets to pick exactly who she wants to work with, when she wants to work with them, and how she wants to work with them. Wonderful story about how she's done that. I know you're going to enjoy. But Kathleen, so good to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored and excited to be here.
Perfect. So this is the very first podcast she's ever done. So she said she was a little nervous coming in, but she'll do great. So, okay. So first off, tell me about you. Tell me about your business and what it is you do, and just kind of the elevator version of, hey, what's your name? What do you do? What is that?
So it's evolved a little bit throughout the years,
right.
But primarily I am a prop stylist and a florist. And lately leaning a little bit more towards the prop styling, but I work with a lot of editorial. I work in people's homes, work with a lot of interior designers, and I kind of set up shots to make them look magazine perfect.
So if you go to her website, KathleenVarner.com, okay, she has some of the best pictures you will ever see. I don't know who shoots them, but the styling of them is absolutely wonderful. Sam's does all of our video, all of our pictures. He's in the room. You got to go to our website. It's wonderful. So there was a lot of people out there, and up until about 2 years ago, I had no idea what a prop stylist is. So I imagine you're at parties or kids' birthday parties, and you say, I'm a prop stylist. They look at you like you're crazy. So tell us, what is a prop stylist?
Well, and if I'm honest, I did not know what a prop stylist was until I moved to Birmingham. So I moved here about 15 years ago for an internship with Southern Living.
Great.
And I had a graphic design background, was their intern, and I did graphic design, and I helped with their photo shoots. And that's where I learned that those pretty pictures that you see in the magazines aren't just sitting there like that. No, and someone comes in and just takes a bunch of pictures. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of prepping and planning and schlepping and setting up and taking down. And that's kind of where I got the bug for it and figured out what it was. And that's what I wanted to do. So
the thing I'm going to ask you this now, do you know who a lady named Alice Head?
Yes.
Okay. So we can tell Alice Head story. Yes. So Alice Head started working here in the building, I want to say 4 years ago. She was hired. Mark Pettis and Chris Hodges hired her here at the church, and she was at Purcell, running the place at Purcell. Alice is wonderful. Yeah. So we have a company called Meal Fit, and you, like you said, you've ordered Meal Fit before. But before that, after that, we started a company, Table and Time. Okay. So we're sitting there doing a meal one day. She's helping me style it. She's helping me present the meal in a fancy way. Yeah. And she goes, "You need to change the name of your company." And I go, well, meal prep and healthy catering, Meal Fit's like, there could not be a more perfect name. And she's like, well, if you're going to do these nicer, higher end weddings and events, no one's going to pay you tons of money with a name like Meal Fit. Yeah. And she's right. Yeah. And she said, you need to start another company then. And so she is the proverbial kick in the pants as to why we started Table and Time.
And she's right. I mean, she's usually right.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah. She's absolutely wonderful. So Alice is great. So you were an intern. So I love talking about people doing internships. So I just told one of my people that works with me, she's got a kid graduating from high school. Not sure she wants to do college. And I said, she needs to go find a job to make money, but she also needs to go work for somebody for free just to figure out what she wants to do. Sure. So why did you do an internship at Southern Living?
Southern Living's always, I actually grew up north, but my dad is from Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. And all of his family's still there. And Southern Living, like many people in the South, it had a lot of weight in that household and was a big deal. And so living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we got Southern Living every month because that was part of my dad's link still to his
gotta get my roots.
Yeah. Gotta get myself a living. Yeah. So I went to University of Tennessee for undergrad.
Really? From Pennsylvania?
Yes.
That's great.
That's a little, you got to be careful, how much you talk about that down here.
Now, I'll say this. I lived in Cookeville, Tennessee.
Okay, yeah.
For 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So
it's a great area.
I love it. Okay, so went to UT.
Went to UT, and I worked in the newspaper there, designing ads for the newspaper, and they had a connection to Southern Progress here, and we had some people in our group that did internships down there. And when I heard about that, I said, "That's it. I got to get in this program." That would just.
I've been seeing this magazine for 20 years.
Yes. So kind of through some connections there, and that was just kind of my plan A. Like, I'm going to intern there after college.
Wow.
And it luckily worked out.
So what did you go to college for? Because that's a big question. College is a big question these days.
Mm-hmm.
Of, is it worth it? Should I go? There's so many different opinions about that. I have a strong opinion about that. I imagine you probably do too. Mm-hmm. So what did you go to college for? So
I went for advertising and graphic design.
Okay. Yeah.
So kind of in the same realm.
Sure.
But there definitely wasn't a prop styling degree at UT.
For sure.
So that was something, I think what I did got me in the door where I am.
Yeah.
But most of what I've learned has been, just assisting, doing a lot of
on the job.
Yeah.
So growing up, tell me about growing up. So I know you went to UT, you did the Southern Living. We've kind of stopped at the Southern Living internship. We'll get back to that. So tell me about growing up. Grew up in Philly. What was life like there? Were you an athlete? Not athlete? Super creative? Give me who is the early Kathleen?
Wow, that seems like another lifetime ago.
But it was.
It was. But no, a great childhood growing up, a suburb outside of Philly. Mm-hmm. Reminded me a lot of kind of the Homewood Crestline. Like I walked to school, I walked to the movie theater, you name it.
Sure.
And trips to Tennessee every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I still have a lot of family up there. I try to go up a couple times a year, but I was involved in high school. I did a lot of sports. League champion pole vaulter.
Okay, let's go.
My junior year.
League champion, no big deal. Got a celebrity in the house.
And then
pole vaulting. That is so. Like, there's a story about this guy. What is the track event where they do 10 events?
Oh,
is it decathlon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Decathlon.
So this guy was extremely fast, unbelievably athletic. He was a stone cold killer.
Oh, wow.
But he only did 9 events because he shot the middle finger to the pole vault. He's like, I'm not doing the pole vault. I'm not. He said, I ain't doing it. That's a shame. But he still was great. He ended up winning a bunch of events, even though he only did 9.
Oh, my gosh.
So he was that good. But he's like, I ain't doing
I'm
that.
not judging that. So. To be fair, it is. But honestly, it was. I loved it. Like,
that's great.
I started a little later. It's not exactly a lifelong sport you can do though. So
you pick at 22.
Yeah.
Okay, so growing up, normal childhood. What did your parents do? Because I always like to ask people, like, what did you see growing up?
So a little bit interesting. So my dad worked in banking. He worked in the city, so he commuted like 40 minutes into the city every day, which was fun. I got to go see him in downtown Philly and get, got cheesesteaks, did the whole thing. And then my mom is actually a Methodist minister. Really? Yes. And so it was a little different dynamic. She worked a lot. She had a lot of late night meetings, a lot of, you'd be getting ready to go on vacation and then somebody die or, that's the truth. But no, very interesting perspective. Her father, my grandfather, was also a Methodist minister. And then I've also got Methodist ministers on my dad's side. So that's pretty deep.
You know what? That was kind of, so a woman being a minister, I guess probably 20, how old are you?
37.
Yeah. So probably 20 years ago, maybe longer. That was she's kind of cutting edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. So I think with her, looking back, I definitely grew up with a strong female influence.
Yeah, absolutely.
hard work and taking ownership in what you do. She did her divinity school, graduate school at Vanderbilt. And that's the connection. That's where they met. So
that's great. So you've got two, what some people would view as two polar opposite, paths. Mm-hmm. So one that's like banking and dollars and like, the margins and all this stuff. And then you got one that's like, hey, love Jesus, do the right thing, all those good things.
And I got none of the number stuff still.
None of the numbers, still have it. 37.
That's a very big struggle.
Yeah. Glad we got a calculator on my phone.
Yeah.
So, so sounds like a pretty, normal, progressive, great upbringing. Yeah. Go to Tennessee, advertising and graphic design, and then probably the reason you did the internship because of seeing those magazines all your life.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's awesome.
Yes,
that's so good. So you get to internship at Southern Living.
Yes.
So tell me about from there. How did we progress from there?
Yeah. So that was kind of it was a lot of packing candles, packing plates. I was a true intern. You said jump, I said how high for about a year and a half.
Okay, great. So here's my question. Tell me about pay. So when you go to be an intern at Southern Living, we're talking a year and a half. We're not talking about 6 weeks. We're not talking about a summer, a year and a half. What did they pay you at that time?
Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was about $15 an hour.
Okay.
May have been $10 an hour.
Yeah.
I think it was 15.
Okay. So you just did that. So was that enough to make a living back then by yourself?
Barely. Now, I did have a great living situation. I got to live where I lived for free.
Perfect.
So it worked out for that time.
Squeeze that orange as much as you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you did that for a year and a half. After a year and a half, where did it transition from there? So you said you did that for that long.
Yes. So after a year and a half there, I got hired on and got a little bit, more of a big girl salary and benefits and all the things, and was there probably for another couple years.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but ended up getting laid off towards the end. Like a lot, they went through a lot of transition for a while.
Southern Living has been bought and sold so many times. Yeah. Okay.
So saw the writing on the wall kind of happening there, which was a shame, but it's very good for me.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking, I don't have a trust fund or anything. I've got to pay for.
My mom was a preacher.
Yeah. My mom was a preacher. And so I can remember just printing out my resumes and thinking I got to figure out something fast.
So you're like 25. Okay.
And walking around Mountain Brook Village because we used to get a lot of stuff there for work. And I saw this really cute little store in Mountain Brook Village. And it had a bunch of beautiful wedding invitations in the window.
Okay.
I thought, this place looks cool. Maybe I can, give them my resume, work here for a little while I figure out, what my next step is, because I did not want to go home to Philadelphia either.
Did you not?
I very much loved living down here or Tennessee and wanted to stay. So gave my resume. It was a wedding planning studio. And this is another one that you should probably.
Who was it?
Neely Butler.
I know Neely really well. Yes. Okay.
It was Neely Butler's wedding planning studio.
Maria Me.
That's
great.
And walked in with my resume, just kind of totally not attuned to everything that they did at the time. Just thought, this place looks cute.
Yeah.
And she was growing fast, as you know.
Yes. And
luckily needed help. And so I jumped on with them and started, in there, it was just kind of helping them with packing and
so you literally just walked into Neely's office.
Just walked
in. Let me tell everybody, for those of you who don't know, and I'll have her on here at some point. I've talked to her once about it. Neely Butler is probably one of the best wedding planners, I would say, in the Southeast.
I'd say in the country at this point.
Probably in the country, she's one of the best. She's an absolute stud. She's as hard of a working human being as I've been around. She hires great people. Her people stay. Most, the team that she's got now, a lot of those girls have been there for 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
So you just happened to walk into. That's awesome. So you start working for Neely.
And, with my background, I kind of did a little bit of everything. I helped her with wedding invitations. I helped her with the planning. I helped her with I think I actually started their Instagram. Now that I think back to it, it's come a long way since I started that for them. But yeah, so a little bit of everything. Love the people, working around her, having that influence, and just kind of learning and watching was huge for me. Was with her for about 2.5 years-ish.
So what did you do for Neely?
I was kind of split between helping with the paper products because they, they'll do everything for the wedding. They're doing the invitations, the koozies, the cups, the programs, you name it.
So you got a good education.
Yes.
That's great.
So I got to see a little bit of everything. But she at that time needed a planner as well. I'm a terrible wedding planner.
Nice. And you work for the best in the country.
It is just not my thing.
Yeah.
But the way that I could be honest with her, if you're honest with your boss and you're working hard and you have a good relationship, we were able to have by the end of it a good, honest conversation of like, you're really good here and here. You're not so good at this.
Not so much.
And I don't think you want to be. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I really don't.
That's so good.
But the connections that I made there and the work ethic that I got to be around was great. So left there on great terms and started working at Hoffman Media, where I met Alice Head.
Okay. Back at Southern Living. Ish.
Yeah. So
do you know Daniel Boone?
Yes. Yeah. He was actually good friends with my husband at Auburn too.
Okay. Love Daniel.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. So Hoffman Media.
Yeah. And we intersected later on too.
Yeah.
Went to Hoffman Media.
So let me go back. Yeah. Why did you leave? Why did you leave Neely to go back to Hoffman? Did you get fired? Because you're not a good wedding planner.
Maybe like having no.
Maybe a little fired.
No, maybe a little fired. You could ask Neely about that one. But no, I think I really wanted to be back in the editorial world.
Really? Okay.
I really did. I loved the magazine world, and Hoffman was a similar environment to Southern Living. Yeah. And it just felt like a natural next step to go from being the intern with all the styling there to jumping back in and getting my first full-time staff styling job.
Right.
So, went there for, I can't even remember how many years.
So we're an intern for 1.5 years. We're at Southern for 2-ish. We're with Neely for 2-ish. So here we are, 27-ish years old. So 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So you go to Hoffman. How long? What were you doing there? When they hired you, what were you doing? Just in-house?
I was an in-house staff prop stylist for Victoria magazine.
Okay.
Which is a very, lots of china, lots of flowers, lots of tablescapes, lots of layers, lots of antiques. Okay. Something, if I'm honest, at the time, I did not know a whole lot about.
But that's fine. Mm-hmm. But you learned a lot.
Yes. Again, it was another just good, my 20s were a lot of just, you go in and you not fake it till you make it, but you figure it out.
But that's what your 20s are about.
Exactly.
Your 20s are about figuring it out. Number one, what do you really want to do? Your 20s are about, number two, learning the things you're good at and the things you're not good at. And what do I have the capacity to really do?
Right.
Because you probably didn't have kids at the time. You may or may not have been married. And when you don't have kids and you're not married.
Yeah.
It's like a golden ticket for extra hours in your day.
It is. It really
and so
is.
you have so much more opportunity to learn, to explore, to do more. Like there's no one, when you get home at 5 or 6 o'clock, you can freaking do whatever you want to do. And if you're a hustler and you want to learn this Victorian stuff, you could have sat down and just studied and done all those different things.
Yes.
So it's a 20s year for education and learning and figuring out who you are.
100%.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I was thankful for the opportunity. And and I had a couple shoots where I left in tears because I, didn't have the right thing or didn't plan XYZ properly, but that's how you learn.
Who was your boss?
It was an art director. The art director, Jordan Markser, was her name. And she was very good in her position. And I learned a lot from her too.
That's great.
She was tough,
Yeah.
but
I had one of those.
I can't, emphasize that experience enough. Like you got to have some hard bosses. You can't be holding hands until you're in your 30s because you're not going to learn anything that way.
Right. That's great. So how long were you there working for her and at Hoffman?
Probably another 3 years.
Okay.
And it was great. It was a hard job. It was.
Why is that? Because here's the thing. I'm, hey, Kathleen, you sit there and you make things look pretty all day long.
Yeah.
How hard can it really be? Because I know there's somebody listening to this. She's freaking complaining about being a prop stylist. She gets to play with cool stuff and be in magazines. So what was hard about it?
It's a lot. So, they might give you all right, we're going to do a shoot about, a summertime shoot, an outdoor summer tablescape. We want ice cream. We want, kids playing in the background. We want this kind of table look. Well, first you've got to source all of those things and make sure they all look good together. You've got to pack all those things.
And you got to shoot it November. because they will. That's the part I learned about media. Yeah. It's people are doing freaking summer shoots in October.
Yeah, we want this look.
Hey guys, the leaves are gold. We're getting.
Yeah, but we want it to feel this way. Yeah. So you gotta you gotta make that all happen. That's a lot of finding, sourcing, making. As you're finding all this, making sure it looks right together, packing it up, getting it approved. And then you're on set and you've got a little, van full of stuff. And at the time, I didn't have assistants. I didn't know to ask for an assistant. I didn't, it was me. And so you're unpacking all this stuff. You're laying it all out. And by the time you get the van unpacked and the flowers done and have it all set out and you're sweating because it could be, again, outside on a 90-degree day in Alabama.
Yeah.
And then you got to set up and make sure it looks right, send it to approval, sit around, wait for approval, pack it all up again, put the homeowner's house back to where it was. And then you get back to the office and then you got to unpack it all again, return it all. So yes, it has. And at this point I hire assistants. I try to cut out as much of that part as I can so that I can actually be focused on the creative. But when you're young and you're green and
I think, though, the point of doing it, I think of not having an assistant at 26 or 27 years old or whatever it is, what it does is it teaches us, because eventually you're going to have to teach that assistant or that person what to do.
Yes.
It's a lot easier to teach that person what to do when you've done it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So, when we first started our business, I did dishes, I bought the groceries, I cooked, I did prep, I did everything. Well, I walk in the kitchen now where there's 15 people in there and I can say, hey, I've done every one of your jobs. I can know how to do these things.
Yes.
Now that chef may be better I am from a skill level, but I've done that before.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to being a one-man band.
Yes. And to be good at anything, you have to understand what everyone else's job feels like and how best to tell them what to do, tell them what you need, and they can give you what you need at the end. So
2.5 years hard years at Hoffman Media, learned a lot, had a hard boss, but a good boss. Where do we transition from there?
So then a lot of the past experience starts coming together.
Okay.
When I was at Hoffman, I did a lot of flowers for my shoots and kind of figured out, I really like this.
Do you?
Yeah. And started having some people ask if I could do their wedding. And did a few and was just like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. This is amazing. Yeah, this is great. And the experience with Neely and kind of having an understanding of how they run really helped in that situation. And so I kind of saw a lot of my experience molding together and
the compounding of all the different things that you've done.
Yes.
What your 20s is about.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Which is, it was a dream. I'm very lucky to have had those opportunities. But yeah, and just kind of started falling in love with weddings at that point. And so as I started getting more and more requests, it kind of became this, do I really want to be tied to a 9 to 5, or do I want to start making my own schedule? And at that point, I was engaged, and we got married. We had like a year-long engagement. And so about a year after we got married, I jumped from being employed somewhere to self-employed.
Okay. So how long, it's a question that all of us have to answer at some point that are business owners. How long did you do both? How long did you work 9 to 5, prop styling, all of those things, and doing X number of weddings on the weekend or X number of, flower things?
Let's see. So it was kind of, I did a little bit of a half and half. So after I left, right when I was leaving Hoffman, I did get a part-time job at Cooking Light. And that's where I met Daniel Boone.
Gotcha.
And so I knew I was going to have that steady income every month.
Just
from
enough to pay the power bill.
Yes.
Okay.
And then anything extra I got was great. And so, I still needed the extra, but
right.
I had a base to go off of. So I started that transition in that way. So I still had a regular part-time job, but then was able to slowly build the freelance more and more and more until I didn't need the part-time job anymore.
Perfect.
And that was probably a year and a half.
Okay. So you went from full-time Hoffman into Cooking Light, part-time. Hey, I work for you, but I'm only going to work part-time because I got this other thing I'm doing. I'm doing flowers. So flowers was your first big girl entrepreneurial business owner gig.
Yes.
So doing not a florist, but I guess a florist for doing event florist. Yeah. Okay. So tell me about that transition. How'd you leave Cooking Light? All those things.
Yeah. So it just got to where I was having maybe at least 1 or 2 weddings, or probably 1 to 2 weddings a month.
Were you undercharging when you started?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. We all did. Everybody.
Yes.
If you've been a business owner, you undercharged at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
Making $47 off all weekend work.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Yes. And it was hard work. It's
very hard work.
And Josh helped me, my sweet husband, a lot in the beginning, just, loading and, renting the truck and all the things. But it really it filled my cup.
That's great.
And I was young and I didn't have kids. And, again, like you said, you have all the time in the world to explore and do. And so it was a lot of fun. And that was kind of mostly what I did. After that, I did a lot of weddings. I still did some shoots here and there. Would still get calls from Southern Living, calls from Hoffman, which was great in between those.
Sure.
So still kind of kept up that skill set, but my bread and butter was the weddings.
Okay.
And, like you said, I did it for close to nothing in the beginning.
Sure. We all did. Yeah.
And then slowly let them get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. So when you left Cooking Light and you're doing all florist stuff, you're kind of got this part-time. So you went from full-time to part-time to now the prop styling and things like that. That's kind of side gig stuff.
Yes.
Just to kind of make it a little extra money here and there.
Yes.
And then you're doing flowers.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me where we transitioned from there.
From the flowers. And so I was doing the flowers a lot for a while. And I've got a big wedding this weekend. I had a wedding last weekend. So we're a little bit
doing the flowers.
Doing the flowers.
Okay.
Yes. And then I guess I'm trying to think, it kind of all becomes a blur too when you start having kids.
Absolutely.
And see, she'll be 4 this summer.
Okay.
And I've got a 4-year-old and almost 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. And so once I started having kids, as much as I love the flowers, it slowly kind of started getting a little bit harder. Now my husband's in medicine, so his schedule does not budge.
No.
If the kids are sick.
When in medicine, what is he? Is he a physician? Is he what does he do?
He's an anesthesiologist.
Okay. Yeah. So he has
Yeah. And so.
Weird hours. Are they real consistent?
They're pretty consistent.
That's good.
It just varies when he gets off.
Sure.
So he used to be at work at 6 a.m. Every day. And then he'll get off anywhere from 10 or 11 a.m. to 5 o'clock.
Oh,
Depending
big window.
on, yeah. So just depending on how busy the schedule is, what he is in the lineup. And then he'll have call a couple times a month.
So not too bad.
No, not too bad. Like as far as the doctor's schedule goes, it's a pretty good lifestyle.
So when you transition to doing flowers full time, so tell me where we are now. Like we've left Cooking Light. What are we like? What's the flow of the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years.
Because I mean, like right before you had kids to now, what has been primarily your go-to as far as income and your business is concerned?
So right now, it's definitely heavier back on the styling because that is, Monday through Friday during the day. And the weekends have just gotten tough. And that's been a big conversation in the household lately is how is this transitioning? And luckily, I've been able to sort of slowly shift it back to primarily styling. But the weddings are still, I've gotten them to the point where they're big enough that I can do just a few a year.
Sure.
And it makes a nice chunk of money that can lead me over if I want to take a little bit of a break.
Right.
So I've only got 3 this year. Now, one of them's a client I worked with before. And the 2 others they're all with the same wedding planner.
Who's that?
Hanley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's also
she's great.
Awesome. Yeah. And she knows me at this point. She knows my style. She knows the kind of wedding I want to take, the kind of budget I want to take. And
it's so easy.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so easy when you work with the same people, same vendors or vendee over and over again.
Absolutely.
So when you say styling, you're doing a lot of styling. Who are you doing that for?
So that's another transition that's happened recently.
Let's talk about it.
It's been really fun.
Yeah.
So it used to only really be magazines. I did a lot of editorial. I do Southern Living. I do food and wine, country living, veranda, real simple, all of those different titles. But as of the last, I'd say less than a year, I've seen a big shift in who is asking me for my day rate and who wants me to style for them. And recently it's been a lot of interior designers. And so they may have just finished this awesome house that they did and they want it shot and styled so they can submit it to a magazine or put it on their portfolio or whatever it is. But they figured out that they don't want to deal with getting, the flowers and the produce for the kitchen and the extra trays and the vases and the rugs and to make that room look picture perfect. And a lot of times the client doesn't want to pay for that last layer at the end either.
No, they don't.
They've already paid a ton of money in the renovation and the large furniture, but they still want it shot and they want it to look finished. And so my years of magazine experience have come in and they'd say, hey, can I hire you for your day rate to do that?
So an interior designer is paying you to come in to do that. What are they? So they're putting in their portfolio, number one. But why does the homeowner or the owner of the building or who hired the designer, why do they want it?
They don't necessarily. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know that they necessarily, I guess it's more of a favor to the designer.
Sure.
Because the designers finished it and they want to put it in their portfolio and they let us, we try to get in right after it's done too. Right. So that maybe they're like moved out or maybe they're on vacation or whatever it is and stuff has been freshly put in the house. But no, they seem to think it's fun most of the time, though, that I've been there to like have their house shot and
maybe an ego thing. That's what you're telling me.
It's
for them. It's okay for this.
I didn't say that.
I did. Kathleen did not say it. I did. No. It's okay. So tell me this. Let's talk numbers. So XYZ. Do you ever work with Betsy Brown?
With who?
Betsy Brown.
Oh, designer? I've not worked with her, but she would be amazing.
Okay, so we'll try to figure out how we can make that connection.
Yes.
So let's say XYZ designer, interior designer at a house in wherever, Vestavia, Homewood, Mountain Brook, wherever, comes in and hires you for your day rate. What does that look? What is your daily rate? If you said $100 or you said $10,000, I would be like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't know what that number looks like. I have no idea. Yeah. So what does that look like?
It depends on the job.
That's what everybody says that quotes their business. It depends on the job.
It depends on the job.
Give me a range.
Usually it's about $700 a day for a 7-hour day.
Okay, so $100 an hour is fair.
Yeah.
So what if we've got to buy flowers, and we got to buy oranges, and we got to buy, kiwi, and we got to buy all these weird things for the. So is that on top of the 700?
Yes. So that is for the shoot day. It is per day. So every interior shoot is going to require me to have at least one prep day, and that's going to be another 700, 600 to 700, depending on what it is. And then whatever extra flowers, we're shooting a kitchen and they want, baguettes from Chez Lulu, and you want, fresh produce and things, like the grocery bill. If there's any kind of extra prop I need to purchase or rent to make that room look finished within reason.
Sure.
And then I also keep a pretty hearty supply of my props that I bring to different shoots. And
Absolutely.
I will charge a rental fee. If I have to pack up that box from my house and risk it getting broken.
Somebody's going to rent it.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to pay for it.
So you got 2 days. So 6 or 7, between 600 and $1,000 a day. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then any of the stuff you got to buy/rent.
Yes.
So the buy/rent stuff's kind of a push. Mm-hmm. So that's a push. Mm-hmm. So to have you're looking at least $100 an hour for 2 days. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you enjoy that.
I do. I enjoy it. And I've gotten to where too, I either emphasize that the designer needs to either help on set, bring one of their assistants, or they need to let me hire one of my assistants that they pay for.
Sure.
So that they're the ones doing most of the unloading and repacking, and I can actually focus on working with the photographer and making sure that shot is perfect. And I've thought about things that they haven't thought about to make it look like they could submit it to a magazine if they want.
So they're taking these pictures and submitting to magazines.
Hopefully.
Do you require them to give you credit in the magazine? Hey, double check. Hey, make sure styling Kathleen Varner. Let's go. I mean, do you make sure that they do that? Do you copyright? I mean,
you know what?
You probably should.
I probably should.
Yeah.
I really.
I'll be your agent.
I haven't. I think I'm so used to prop styling world where the stylist is used to getting, if they get a credit, it's like in the crack of the magazine.
In the seam.
Yeah.
Where someone's pulled the mailer out and it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
I got you.
But it's funny because sometimes, the stylist, you're like, oh, that's a beautiful thing that the photographer shot. And you look at all the stuff that's been in there that you've packed and loaded and sourced and rented a van and, literally.
Yeah.
And your name's like in the crack and you're like, oh, well, there'd be nothing there to shoot if I had not been there.
That is my work, not photographer John.
But no, their part is beautiful,
absolutely.
And different.
They have a big part in it, yeah.
But I mean, I can't at this point, as long as I'm getting paid at the end of the day, in a timely manner, I really haven't been to. If they don't credit me, they don't credit me.
Yeah, no big deal.
It's fine.
So we're to look at your income, look at your business. What would we say percentage-wise would be prop styling or stylings and flowers? Where are we at there?
We're probably at like 70-30, with 70 being the prop styling at this point.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say.
How many days a week do you work? Because I'm having a hard time placing do you work really hard right now? No. That's an honest question. You have to be like I'm crazy.
It is.
Do you? Because you spent your 20s working your butt off, but how hard do you work right now? Honestly,
it's it kind of ebbs and flows.
Does that embarrass you? That question embarrass you? No. She's getting red. If you're listening to this on a podcast, she's red because I just asked her how hard she works.
No, I mean it's changed.
Yeah, sure.
Recently, I'd say. I've kind of had to learn, and I'm still learning my limits with kids now.
Yeah.
I probably take one shoot day a week at this point.
Okay.
Because that shoot day involves a full prep day and a return day afterwards. So it's really like 3 days. But that prep day and return day, I just need more flexibility lately. As you know, if you've got kids, they're sick all the time. And so they're full-time daycare.
Yep.
And so trying to always leave a little bit of wiggle room in my schedule in case they get sick or something comes up with them. Because like I said, Josh has zero flexibility.
Yeah, gotta be there at 6.
Yes, and we have no parents in town.
Oh, that's right.
So
So tell me about Josh. So he's a doctor. Where'd you guys meet? Like, tell me about him.
So we actually met on Match.com.
Yes.
Back when I got on the computer.
Clip that. Give him credit. One of the best pop stylists and florists in the Southeast. Met her husband on Match.com. Yes. Okay, go ahead. That's great.
We used to be super embarrassed, I think, to say that.
No.
But you know what?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
We're happy. So, we met. I was interning at Southern Living still. And you moved to Birmingham. I love Birmingham.
Now, where's he from originally?
He's from a small town outside Montgomery called Union Springs, Alabama.
Know where it is?
There you go.
There you go.
Well,
Yep.
I did not know
Yep.
where it was
Yep. You
when
should.
we met. No.
You're from Philly.
So very different upbringing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
But great. I mean, great people there.
Yeah.
It's they've got a great social network. They can party down there.
Absolutely. A lot more space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's from there. Went to Auburn.
Okay.
Went to UAB for medical school.
Right.
And trained at UAB for residency.
Wonderful. So you met him there, got married, kids.
Yeah.
So you're 37. So you had your first one at 33. So how long were you guys married before you had kids?
5 years.
Great.
Which I highly recommend.
Highly recommend that.
Yes.
You hear that, Luke? Highly recommend that.
Yes.
Luke's back there, been married a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you always want to have kids?
I think so. I mean, it's always hard. I
hope so.
I think so.
Never had that answer before. I think. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think I was ever, I knew I'd never wanted to have a ton of kids.
Yeah.
But I felt ready after 5 years.
Sure.
I don't know that I was 100% sure in the beginning, but after 5 years, we both felt very ready.
Great.
To start that. We got to travel. We went to Paris. We went to Amsterdam. We, went to Napa. We got to do a lot of fun things before. And we're we make that a big priority.
Yeah.
To do date nights, to travel at
Alone.
least once a year alone.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I hear about people when they say, "Oh, I haven't been out anywhere without my kid in 3 years," and I just
sorry. So let's say this. Okay, so here's one thing you made a good point of earlier is you still take date nights. You still get to travel by yourself. What do you do with the kids on date nights? What do you do with the kids? Because here's the thing. Everybody in the South has got mom and them that live close. My mama's watching the kids. So and so. We lived in Cookeville for 11 years.
Yeah.
Had no parents.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? This is a great lesson for people out there that are in your same time frame. How do you date with no family?
So we have one great Mary Noel. She is our in-town grandmother, we call her. And I put out a thing on Facebook in one of the groups when I was pregnant with Alice, just kind of feeling, because I wasn't sure at the time when I got pregnant. I said, I don't know what my work schedule is going to be like. I don't know if I want full-time daycare. I don't know if I want a nanny. And she has just kind of been, we just feel very lucky to have her.
Who is she? What does she do?
She's actually also does flowers. She lives.
Is she related to you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Who's this person?
Found her on the Facebook group, interviewed her before, and she's kind of like our, backup if I need someone to pick up Alice from school to take her to gymnastics or whatever it is. Now, we rely a lot on Wendy, the Wendy app as well. If we want a date night, you don't know about that?
No.
You don't know about the babysitting app?
No.
So I think it was a lot of Stanford graduates.
Just local?
Or Stanford students. Yeah. But it's in other cities now. But I think it started here.
I have no idea. Please educate me.
And it's basically like a babysitting Uber app. You can put in, I've got 2 kids these ages. They need to be fed. This is what their bedtime is. This is my rate. This is where we live. And you put the posting out there, and then if somebody wants it, they grab it. And then you can look at their profile. Everyone's vetted, but you can see, they've got 5 stars. They've done 100 jobs.
Don't get a 2-star babysitter.
Yeah. The way, yeah.
Don't get a 2-star babysitter. No. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Just like Amazon. This is Amazon.
Yes.
Okay.
You only get the 5 star.
Yeah. Okay. So you use that some too.
Oh yeah. We use that. I mean, if we want to go out to eat, like we're going out to eat. But I've found a sitter within 2 hours before. No, you gotta increase that rate a little bit.
Absolutely.
But sometimes mama and dad I need some Chez Fun, and by God, I'm gonna get it. So.
That's awesome. So tell me how life has changed since kids from a working perspective. How because like you've proven the people you've worked for.
Yeah.
Like I know Neely's work ethic. You said you had a hard boss back at Hoffman. So you've worked hard, interned for a year and a half. How did your work life how did you transition from working hard and long to when you had kids? What'd you give up?
It's still, I mean, and you know, I guess I didn't know how to answer that question when you first. I mean, the days are still hard and long, and they just are. And I love what I do.
Yeah, that's key.
It fills my cup. I feel more confident than ever. I'm good at it. I know what I can deliver to a client, and so and I'm always thinking about it. And so but it has transitioned with kids. There's no longer where I used to be able to come home in the evenings after dinner or whatever it was and get back on my computer and work.
Can't do that.
I'm spent by the end of the day. After 5 o'clock, after I picked up my kids, I can't turn it on like I used to. I have to give myself a break there. Now, it may mean like, all right, you're going to get up a little extra early the next day. You're going to answer some emails then or whatever it is. But the evenings at this point in my life.
You don't work. No. That's great. Me neither. No, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It took me probably until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, there are always those situations where I have to work late at night because of an event or whatever. That's different. I mean, you have to do that some too.
Right.
But like, for example, I get home this afternoon. I'm pick T up at 5:30 from basketball. I ain't working.
No.
I'm just not doing it.
No.
Now, I'm an early person, so I will do stuff in the morning before I get going.
Sure.
But for the most part, I quit doing that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I got a handful of questions, just easy.
Yeah.
Like,
shoot.
Quick questions, okay? And you have to be very, there's some of these questions I want you to just be as egotistical as you possibly can.
Okay.
Okay, like, so the first question is, what are you absolutely great at?
I can see the next level of any shot in a room. I can say, this is great, but it'd be even better if we pulled in this rug, if we moved this here, if we added, I've looked at magazines for so long at this point. It's been 15 years. I've been in that world. I just see it. I don't know.
Great. Can't teach it.
It's just like an instinct now. It's like, this next thing is going to make it better. This next thing's going to make it better.
What is the next level? I hate this word next. I hate that. The next level. That's so corny. What is the next thing for you as far as growth in a business is concerned? What is that?
That's been a big discussion.
Let's have it.
Right now my kids are in full-time daycare.
Yeah.
And they go to school year round. And I could drop them off at 7 a.m. I can leave them there till 5:30. I don't love to do that. But they're going to start elementary school soon. And so a lot of my thinking has been around, how do I not work a full day every day and be able to be there to pick them up and not send them to aftercare every day. Or just, they're about to have a lot more sports and soft, baseball, whatever it is. And so just recently I've been doing more of the interior stuff because I can cut that day a little shorter. I've been going into people's houses, like maybe we do an interior shoot at their house and they'll be like, hey, can you come back? I really liked all that stuff you brought. Can you come back and like finish out my bookshelves or, finish out my mantle or my entryway? And because I'm shopping all the time for everything else and I'm used to setting up for a magazine, I've sort of been able to transition that to, I can just come into your house and do that.
So you're parlaying shoots and things into more dollars from the client.
Exactly.
That's awesome, Kathleen.
And I can cut that day. I can be like, I'm only here for 3 hours. This is my bill for 3 hours. I'll get done what I can in that time. And I'm not taking that home as much
Sure.
as I am. Like if I'm planning a Southern Living shoot, my wheels are turning. I'm thinking about that. Okay, I need to make sure I remember to get this and this and this. But to go into someone's house and do that, I can shut it off a little bit more. I can cut the day shorter. So
that's good. That's
been one of the transitions I've been trying to make. Or if I am doing a shoot like this summer, I've got a great one up in Nashville.
Okay.
I'll be gone for a week.
Oh, wow.
And, maybe I just do
What are you going to do with your babies?
They are going to go with my in-laws in Union Springs.
Great.
My in-laws have also been absolutely incredible.
They're only an hour and a half away.
So, and they love taking them. The kids love going there.
Perfect.
That's how we've been able to travel, do our big trips.
That's great. Okay, next question. Who's your favorite follow on any social media?
Favorite,
just when you see them, you're just like, oh yeah.
Oh gosh, let me think. I can't like one that just comes to mind. I've got so many interior design friends. I think. Oh, I love Betsy Brown. You mentioned her. She's
Shout
great.
out.
Gosh, that's a tough one. Depends on if I'm doing. I'm afraid if I say one name,
we will put a disclaimer out there.
Another one, but hold on, let me see. Let me pull this up
Let me
real
pull
fast. Because I'm constantly consuming, and 1 week, I don't know. I'm freezing. I'm just gonna. Okay. I love house and parties. They're one of my favorites. I just pulled up my saved Instagram posts. They are a really cool, like tabletop company that
they sell stuff.
Yes, they sell stuff.
House and parties.
House and parties. I think they are the coolest.
Okay, these are random questions too.
Yeah.
What do you need to work on to be a better human?
I need to learn how to turn it off a little bit more when I'm at home.
What are your thoughts, and you've done a very good job at this, okay, on like building a personal brand? So obviously, Kathleen Varner Kathleen Varner, like you've done that. Is it sellable? I don't know. Could be. But like, what are your thoughts on that just whole process?
I think just being as honest and genuine as you can. I really try anything I post, anything I say that I like or I buy or whatever it is, like, is something I truly like use at home or like or have been doing.
Yeah.
And I do try to show as much as I can, like the hard parts, of being a mother and working. And my kid just pooped all over himself right before we left the house for whatever it is. And, it was a hard day.
Yep.
So I think just putting all that out there and trying to be honest with yourself.
That's great. Different question. So so upper income family, what do you guys, who does the investing in your home? You or your husband?
My husband.
Do you know anything about that?
A little bit.
Where's y'all's investing tilt towards? Like obviously other than your business, where are you guys putting money to invest in?
Well, we still own our first house that we bought. He bought when we were engaged in Crestline Park.
Okay.
And that's been a real fun little, not a big investment, but held on to that, paid it off.
It's a rental?
It's a rental.
That's good.
And we live in Crestline now. So we'd like to buy a few more. We'll see.
So you want to kind of stay in the rental game, the real estate?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And then he's got some in the market that
just market stuff you don't know about?
I don't know about. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 5 ending questions that are just really, really, really quick. Okay. What is your go-to activities with your 4-year-old and your 2-year-old?
Lately, it's the moon bounce. We just got our yard turfed. It used to be disgusting, and so now it's turfed. And we got
some turf. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like Protective Stadium, we got we got turf at our house.
We love it.
And we got to cut no grass.
Yep.
We got to pay nobody to cut no grass.
And I started paying someone to pick up the dog poop too.
That's
and
it.
Honestly, that's been like my favorite thing ever.
Well, it's so funny. We did a party this weekend for Christopher Confero.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we did a party for him and beautiful home here in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And we're walking through and the guy looks at me and goes, "What's that guy doing?" I said, "I think the guy's picking up poop in the dog pen."
Yep.
And sure enough, he had a poop
Birmingham Poop Scoop.
Yes,
Yep.
that's what it was.
Yep,
Okay,
they're
great. I had no idea that business
Honestly,
existed. That's awesome.
I may like him as much as my house cleaner.
That's perfect. Okay, what are you really focused on learning right now?
Focused on learning.
What are you reading, learning? What are you doing there?
Right now I've got a lot of family raising kid kind of books on my nightstand. Honestly, we're in a big tantrum phase. We're in a big just trying to make sure we're.
I do know. I do know.
Yeah,
I got you. I feel your pain. So I'm reading one called Hunt, Gather, Parent.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look that one up.
It's very good because the girl does a lot of research and she talks a lot about how a lot of these cultures that are extremely successful with child rearing, they integrate their kids into their lives.
Okay.
They don't do tons of play days. They don't go sit at birthday parties for hours on end. They don't center their lives around their humans.
Yes.
They integrate them.
Yeah.
Even from the ages of 2 and 4.
Yeah.
She's got a section that says, this age, this is the way you do this.
Okay.
And it's fascinating.
I would love to read that.
I'll send you a link to it. It's called Hunt, Gather, Parent. The lady's pretty brilliant. Yeah. So it's a very, very good read.
Yeah. We were big bringing up Bebe fans, the French philosophy of raising kids, which I feel like they're big on, not making them the center of attention and making it more like they're part of your lives and what you're doing. And we're not going to stop everything to make this comfortable for you.
Centered around you. Yeah. Have you read or heard about Baby Wise?
I've heard of it.
So we are Baby Wise Nazis.
Okay.
And people thought we were crazy because it was a sleep method.
Yes.
As much as anything.
Yeah.
And so we did the opposite. Baby Wise is wonderful, and I highly recommend it for new parents. So what it is the rhythm of normal people is play, eat, sleep. And people will feed their kid, and it transitions them to sleep. Have a bottle, go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Total opposite.
Huh.
So it's sleep, eat, play.
Interesting.
And the hard part about it is people. This is where people think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Is you have your routine of rocking your kid for a second.
Yeah.
And then you set them in the bed, the bassinet, whatever.
Yeah.
And they go to sleep.
Yeah.
You don't rock them to sleep.
Oh yeah.
You don't none of that stuff. You set them in there, and them suckers.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they will scream their head off for however many minutes, and other parents think you're nuts. Yeah. But it works.
No, we are big. We did Moms on Call, which I think may have been a little similar.
Yeah, very similar.
But we were very much, they're going to cry and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And
they're not sick or hurt.
They're not sick or hurt. They're taken care of.
Yes.
Pretty sure there was one night when we were breaking our son and I just turned the sound machine on really high in my room, and he had a appointment with the pediatrician the next day. And so I went to sleep and I was fine. But his little voice was hoarse the next morning. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm the worst mom ever. I'm the worst
parent, but I'm really not.
He was fine. The pediatrician said he was fine.
Yep.
And guess what? They both slept through the night at 3 months.
Yes. That's the beauty of that method. Yes. So huge plug for Baby Wise.
Yes.
Favorite vacation that you've taken?
Paris, 100%.
Okay. Ready? Next question. Favorite vacation you've never taken?
That I'm south of France.
Okay, perfect. We're French people. Okay, got it. Okay. What is the best book you've ever read?
Best book I've ever read. At this point in my life, I'd probably say Mom's on Call, because I got my children to sleep through the night at 3 months.
Nice.
But I know that's not very exciting.
That's great though. I mean, that's a super practical book that people can, especially young moms. So, okay.
Well, and I will say too, I'm an occasional reader, but magazines are my jam. And so,
what's your favorite? Ooh, can you say your favorite? Can you give me your top 3 magazines?
Well, I've got to say Southern Living, because
you got
Southern Living. Yeah. I love Veranda. They're also here. I think they do a beautiful job. There's so many. I love a lot of the English versions of Country Living and a lot of the European magazines.
You're a big European person. You like that culture.
I do.
Why is that?
They just seem to not take themselves so seriously. They are very big on work-life balance. I love the food. I love the history. I think that's a big thing. Like even here, I like to visit historical cities.
Yeah.
Maybe it's growing up in Philadelphia, kind of get that bug.
Yeah.
I love really old things.
Awesome. What am I missing? What have I not asked you about? What do you want to talk about that you just love and enjoy? Like, is there anything else that we've missed?
I love and enjoy. I'd say, lately it feels like sleep, but
She's honest, folks.
Yeah. No, it's been really fun. The kid work-life balance has been really fun to sort of see how that's changing recently, and they're kind of getting older and able to be like a little bit more fun and do things. And so like this is the first year we're actually taking vacations with them. We usually kind of just give them to my in-laws.
Sure.
And so, I'm kind of looking forward to doing some stuff with them this year.
You gonna have any more kids?
No.
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 Pretty quick.
Yeah. No.
No more kids.
No more kids.
Okay, great. What questions do you have for me? Anything? You probably don't know much about me, but that's fine.
I think I do need the meal fit.
It would be great.
Yeah. Because that's been really hard. We kind of went through a couple months where, I just didn't cook. I just didn't. DoorDash. We Taco Mama, stir-in. It was takeout or like very, basic. And you just kind of felt gross. You're working hard. You've got, it doesn't stop when you get home. And we've recently kind of gotten back into a good rhythm with it. But I don't know, that was just kind of one of those things. When you're working hard with owning a business and having a family, not everything can keep going at the same time. Something is going to drop at any point. And whether it's your house is a mess or it's, for us, it was cooking for a while. I just couldn't get there.
I feel like the thing that we do is food, but the thing that we do more than anything is time.
Yeah.
You, for example, ordering, you're like the prototypical client, 25 to 45, mom, business owner, mom, busy, whatever.
Yeah.
Got stuff going on.
Yeah.
You're probably a pretty decent cook, but don't really have time or just don't want to put in forth the effort. And I think that's where we come in and make your life easier. Yeah. It's just, you got cooked food. Like, for example, I do it. Yeah. I take the food home.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids, 2 of which are in the one is in the throes of puberty and one is fixing to be. So
they're hungry.
Oh my gosh. They eat so much. And so we do it, and it makes our life easier. Because I got one in volleyball, one in basketball. We got we're going in 14 different directions. Yeah, sure. And so having meal fed at the house is just, I'm a client. I'm a owner, but I'm also a client. So it helps us a lot. So, this has been fun. I've learned so much about you. And we find out too, that there's so many people that we know.
I know.
And, from Daniel to Neely to Alice to all those different people. Now, I figured if we talked long enough, we could probably figure out some more.
I'm sure. That's why I love Birmingham too.
Yeah,
it's really, it's a small town at the end of the day.
So if people want to find you, want to hire you, want to find you, just want to follow you, just see what you're doing, because I would say this, if you're listening, you need to go to her website. She's got a beautiful website. It's one of the best I've seen in a long, long time. Where do people need to find you?
Instagram, Kathleen Varner.
Perfect. That's the best thing.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
this has been
thanks
great.
for having
Learned
me.
a lot. I hate to say the word struggle, but I love the kind of the grit and determination through your 20s of just going from job to job, and then where you've taken all the experiences that you had and compounded them together to build a wonderful business and an extremely successful business here in Birmingham.
Well, thank you.
So it's been a lot of fun. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.